Okay, hello. Um, I thought I'd do a quick video on July 21. Seeing as it's tomorrow, I thought I'd do it. We're still on 7:20 for another half an hour, but I thought, well, I'll go ahead and knock a quick video out. I haven't done a video in ages, and it's an interesting date. Is it a prediction date for something to happen? I think something might happen on this day. Don't know what. Potential Hoover Dam Day, and I'll explain why. Um, and let's just dive straight into it because I think it's interesting anyway. Okay, so a couple of things I want to start off with before I even get into the actual date itself is 7 and 21. We've got a kind of, you know, this date itself is kind of referencing a 777. Yeah, 7's into 21 3 times, right? So we've got this 777 reference, right? Which is what we just had in the condo thing. And everything. What I want to say is that if you look at, I mean, this is just, I know this might sound like I'm kind of trying to bend the rules here to make stuff fit, but if you look at a big L and a little L, right here, I got the big and small L. So a little L, these are the same thing essentially, yeah. So this is also a 7 if we flip it up the other way, and this is still a 1, yeah. So 7 is 1 when it comes to looking at this, if we want to think about it that way. And so if we balance like a double 7, 77, we could also call it an LL, and an LL, the L that's even, yeah, two of those would be balanced, which would make them even. And so the double L, which would be 11. And so I kind of, I mean, I know I'm playing with stuff here, but that idea of 9/11 actually being 7/11, which is just a 111, that's the day of the year that, actually that's the number of days that were left in the year when that event occurred. It's one of those things that it's just interesting, isn't it? If you want to think about stuff a little bit differently. What do I want to say about this day? So there's 202 days. Sorry to get sidetracked on that right at the start, but like this. So this condo thing could have been 8111, yeah. And from that you can get the 1118, which is right at the center of the this thing, yeah. These are the balance numbers that we're referring to every time. If you don't know what this chart is, you'll have to go look at another video. I ain't got time to explain it now. And we're going to be paying close attention to all these kind of numbers right here for when we're looking for certain dates. So many days on, 47 days on, 29 days on. We can start flipping these numbers around, and we can count days. 97, and this is the day, the numbers we're going to be concerned with what we're looking at with this number, which is taken from this row here, which is the pi row, Phoenix from the Flames, yeah. Of course, I haven't got time to explain all this, but this row here heavily references the number pi, yeah. And so go back and check some of the old videos, but this number here we're going to be dealing with as we go through our list. I want you to pay close attention to this. 157, it's actually half. This is actually half of 314. So this is pretty significant. But we'll be looking at a lot of these numbers here. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack back into it. Oh, and also pay attention to this: the 55, the 88, the 143. These are all numbers that kind of pop up an awful lot in the whole thing. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack on. So this happens to be the 202nd day of the year. This is on the dollar bill. This bit of encoding, and I'm going to show you where it is. Hang on, let's go to it. This is my $1 bill, expertly drawn. You can't really see my cursor, but anyway, I'm over the top of it. It would actually be better if you could see my cursor. Can I put a bigger? Let me put that big. There we go. This is your regular $1 bill. And if we fold the middle out of this, so we're going to put a fold line here, and we're essentially going to wipe out this middle part. What we'll end up with is this. So I don't know if you can make this out. There's half the pyramid there, and then there's half the eagle here. And what we end up with is a sort of an arch here, and another arch here on each side of the seal. This is your fold line here, where the two sides join. And so what we end up with is a 1 and a 1 on this side, and a 1 and a 1 on this side. Okay, those are your 4 inlet towers of the Hoover Dam. This part of the seal, this piece that's on the top of the seal here, which I haven't drawn in on these ones, this represents the dam, and the other side represents the arch bridge that's there, the Pat Tillman Bridge. Okay, and here's your state line. Yeah, you've got Nevada, and you've got Arizona on each side of these. Yeah, and this is the pyramid. It's the Luxor, and this is the Phoenix rising from the flames. Yeah. You'll have to go back and look at the $1 fold if you don't know what I'm talking about here. But this is your 202, yeah, right there on the $1 bill, which you know, I think it's interesting. I don't know if anybody else does. I don't know if people say, well, you're just reaching down, but whatever. Anyway, I don't, doesn't really matter. Anyway, that was my point there with the 202. It's also, if you Gematria Hoover Dam, it's 101. This is the second event. They already had the Harvest 101 that was the 1st of October, so this would be the 202 event. Interesting again, at least for Vegas. 163. This has been referenced up on the dam. The 1 point FC, which was Cologne FC, which was shone up on the dam with it was a what was it? We're back to Mercedes again, and Freightliner. They did a corporate event there, and of course they shone the. Actually, I don't know if that was. I think that was something completely different actually. But anyway, Cologne FC was shone up on the dam, and if we change FC over to numbers, we get 63. So what's the reference here? We're referencing back to the 1118 balance number, because if we divide 18 by 11, we get 1.63, and it's 63, 63, 63, and so the 63, which pops up an awful lot, like with Diana, or trying to think what else it pops up with, but anyway, Diana is the one that sticks in my mind, with her being 36 years old when she dies. Anyway, I don't want to waffle on too much. I just want to hit the dates for July the 21st. Yeah, so let's go down. In fact, let's just click in here, and I'll just shmoo down. So 9/11, yeah, the 111, right? In fact, we can just go have a quick look at 9/11. Let's get off of this one. I was looking at some dates there. That's just a calculator. 9/11. So you can just see what I'm talking about. August, September is 9/11. 254 days off the year. This is 111 days left in the year. Right. Okay, that's interesting. So we've got the, the triple-legged event again, the 3 bars, the triple bar event. Yeah, we're back to one-arm bandits and Vegas again. But anyway, I just wanted you to just make sure you were following what I'm saying here. Go back to this. I know my computer skills are terrible. Anyway, so if we take and we start running some days backwards and forwards from that date, so if we go 111 days forward, right? This is interesting, right? So we're using the code that's already there from 9/11, yeah, the 3 towers. We go to November the 9th, yeah. I mean, now you can change Nov to another 9, so you could get 99 or 66, yeah. Which is also interesting, which I haven't got written down here. I should have 99 written here as well. But we've got a 911 reference right just, before we've even got started almost. And if we go back 111 days, it takes us to another very interesting day, April Fool's Day. Yeah? And the idea of, this con that's being put upon us, by the people that are in power, or by consciousness itself. Who knows? But I do have a feeling that a lot of this stuff, it doesn't feel real, if you know what I mean. It just doesn't feel real. Well, anyway, let's use. So anyway, enough of that. You can draw your own conclusions from that. That's very interesting. Now let's go 157 days forward, right? And that takes us up to the 25th of December, which is Christ's birthday, yeah? The birth of the King. And if we go back 157 days, we go back to Valentine's Day, the 14th of February. Again, another super interesting day. And what does Cupid do? Cupid shoots you through the heart with the arrow, and you are captured, yeah, by love, yeah, the things that you desire. Now, we've got to be careful with the use of the term love, because there's you can use it in a balanced sense, and you can also use it in an unbalanced sense in terms of like lust or desire or fulfillment of an enjoyable thing. I don't know. It a lot of the time, people say, "Oh, I love going and doing that, and I love doing this, and really, what they're saying is they actually, they're talking about maybe what could very well be an balanced process of really what we're talking about as desire, rather than what true love would be accepting balance, or accepting the way nature is, and accepting balance the way it is, and actually making a correct doing a correct action, or making a correct choice based off of just simply balance. I know I'm going around in circles here trying to explain this, but that kind of love is the love to let something go, that when people say, "Oh, if you love something, let it go," it's that ability to actually make the correct decision, a correct balanced decision about something. Anyway, I'm waffling too much. You probably get what I'm talking about. Anyway, so this, I've just put a little reminder in here. Yeah, this 157, which is in our chart. Yeah, it's the completion number. This is the 10th number here. So we're at the completion of the cycle with 157, and it just happens to be half a pi. So it's a halfway point. It's a balance point in pi. And I've just put that there to remind me, 157 plus 157 is 314. So let's carry on. Yeah, we've got the Valentine. This is Cupid shoot, and in fact, my son actually pointed this out to me. We were just watching a couple of clips of Back to the Future, and I believe, boy, I can't remember exactly where it is, but it's in number 1. And there is, if you look at the stores that are around the town centre there, around the town square, there is a Cupid, a store with the name Cupid on it, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, it's there if you can find it again. Maybe I'll do a video and put it in there sometime on that. A couple of other things. So 721, we can also flip a 5. We can rotate a 5 to become a 2, or we can mirror it and it will become a 2. Yeah, what I'm talking about is this idea here. See, I've got them down here. I've got the 2. If you had a mirror line right here, we've got a 5 out of that. And those two together are pretty interesting. I think somewhere else down in the rest of the video, I've got, if you do 52 plus 25, we're getting back to the 77 number again, which is, it's referenced with Elvis and etc. Anyway, so I don't want to go, so we've been through the first lot of interesting numbers, yeah, the 111 days and the 157 days. So the way my mind works, it's weird, but I had been looking at dates, and August the 10th had come up a few times when I was looking at damn dates, right? And I thought, well, they've kind of already done, and it's like the 4th of August as well. That comes up a lot, and you'll hear Jurassic Liars talking about the 4th of August all the time. But it's kind of been used with the Beirut explosion, and of course, the root of all our problems is the maritime system. So the Beirut exploding, on the 10th of not the 10th, the 4th of August. It's kind of a date that's already been used up. And so I'd been looking at damn dates, so that was one of the dates that come up, because the 4th of August happens to be 143 days, I think, from 314, from March the 14th. So it's a day that's got some significance, a high amount of significance to it. That's probably why we saw like the biggest non-nuclear explosion ever, if you believe in nuclear bombs, but the biggest non-nuclear explosion I think the world's ever seen. So, that date's kind of already been used up, and I had looked at like August the 10th, August the 11th, August the 15th, anything with an 8 and a 1 in it is going to draw some attention. And I'm like, well, the Arecibo observatory kind of started having problems on August the 10th, so it's kind of being used up. And I got to thinking, well, the Arecibo observatory is referenced in Back to the Future. I'm pretty sure that the amp blowing up when Marty turns it on and does his little strumming session, or is about to do a strumming session, and he blows up the amp right at the start of Back to the Future. I'm pretty sure that is a reference to the Arecibo blowing up. I mean, if you think about it, the Arecibo is basically an amplifier. It basically is amplifying so-called signals from space, yeah? So it's basically a big amp, and it kind of blows up in the same way, with the center of it kind of gets destroyed a bit, So if you look at it, to me, that's probably what it is. But anyway, I thought, well, I'll have another look at this, and I looked at the dates for each part of its destruction, because it kind of falls down in 3 stages, 3 legs again. And the first is August the 10th, yeah. And so I've got down, what we can pick from August the 10th. But if we So the next date is November the 6th, and that happens to be 88 days. And then the final day is December the 1st, which happens to be 25 days. And I don't know if you remember in that scene, but Doc phones up just as Marty's blown up the amp, and he says, the clocks all start going off, and he says, oh, my experiments worked, all the clocks are 25 minutes late. Yeah, so we've got this 8 reference with the time, supposed to be 8 o'clock, yet it's 8:25. So we've got this double reference to the Arecibo observatory or telescope getting blown up, basically, right at the start of Back to the Future. We can pick out some other numbers from these dates. So we've got the 121, of course, or the 101, because you can change these. Don't forget, you can always change these, especially these numbers here, these month dates. God, get it out right, Dan. The month name, Nueve 9, Deci 10. So we can change them to the actual what they mean as words. So so this is how I get these references here. But I just thought it was super interesting, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I take my 721 number and now apply 88 and 25 and do some pluses and minuses of days that way. So here's the first lot. I plus 88 and we got to October the 8th, and of course you can draw your own conclusions from that. That's a 1008, or any time we're dealing with a 1 and an 8, we're talking about balance again, right? The number of man is as it is in that table, right? Let's just go back to the table so we can just get clear in our heads. This is the physical realm, this is the non-physical realm, right? And so when we look at these numbers when we're dealing with reality, we can draw some conclusions if we see these popping up. We're talking about balancing these two things. We want to see these numbers sort of working with one another. Anyway, this 18 and the 11 and the 5 and the 8, these are the numbers you're going to see a lot of when we're talking about balance. Okay, go back down, because we'll be here all night. So I minus 88, and so this takes me back to the 24th of April. Now, I didn't know this just till the other day. I didn't really realize there was even a day for the celebration of Lazarus. And it's called Lazarus Saturday, and I just googled it, and that's the day it gave me. Right? I don't know the ins and outs of how they work it out. It's a church like festival date, so it moves around. Anyway, this year it's April 24th. So that was really interesting that we went back to this day, because Lazarus again, we're talking about rebirth, yeah. So this is super interesting, and I may skip on to something, but I happen to be looking up Lazarus, and if you want to do some digging on an interesting story, in fact I'll probably just do the story for the next video, but it'll just be on Toys R Us. In fact, I might stick it on the end of this video, I don't know, depends how long I take on this. But anyway, Lazarus Saturday, super interesting. And then I got some options for the 25. So I plus and minus 25, and I also did 52, because of course flipping the 5 and the 2 around, and the 2 is the 5 as well if we mirror it as well. So this is interesting here with the 2 and the 5, and the idea of 77 coming from those two numbers as well. Anyway, August the 15th, this was another one of these days that I'd already come across looking at damn numbers, because it's 815, and it happens to be 47 days from June the 29th. And that's interesting because, of course, 74 or 47 is Independence Day numbers, yeah? And so that also is in the table. It's heavily in the table. In fact, let's just look. Here's your 47 here. Here's your 47 here, or 74, depending on which way you want to look at these numbers. And this independence surrounds these balance numbers here, and I extend over to here. If you've seen my other videos, you know why. I'm not going to explain it right now. Anyway, that's what's interesting about that, because if we go plus 52 days now, we get to September the 11th, which is super interesting, of course, and 74 days from June the 29th is also September the 11th. Yeah, this is why this date is so interesting, because these all kind of cross-reference back with one another. We can go back 25 days, which is June the 26th. There's nothing really that interesting. I've kind of reached a little bit here. We'll just flip the 6 upside, flipped it round to be the 9, and we've got June 29 again coming from this. That's kind of, that's reaching a bit there, but whatever. And if we go back 52 days, we get to May the 30th. Not really anything much there either, apart from 53 or 35. 53 again is in the table, around those numbers again with the balance numbers. Here it is right here. In these, any of these numbers that are close in here, because we're working towards the end of the deal, the end of the cycle. So these numbers are going to be interesting. Of course, 1935 is the year that the Hoover Dam was, at least it's the year that they put on the dam for completion. So anyway, and of course you can get a 33 from this as well if you want to flip calendars, and you can make that the 3rd month and you get a 33. But that's, again, kind of reaching a little bit. And I've put the 25 plus 52 to get to the 77. Another interesting thing is we can go back now 77 days, and we can get to the 5th of May. So Cinco de Mayo, 55. That was fairly interesting. The next interesting day, though, because I was like, well, it doesn't work for me unless we're referencing May the 23rd somehow. And if you watch my other videos, May the 23rd, I came up with as being this set of numbers here, right? Explained in the other video why we took this as being May, just simply because it's in the 5th column, basically, and it sums to 5 as well. So what was interesting was we could get to some of these other numbers by adding on 37. We could get up to here to June 29th, and then we could backtrack to June the 11th. So this was kind of like a big deal, especially the way these other numbers sort of joined up with it. And you have to go back and look at an old video to find that stuff. But I was like, well, it'd kind of be nice if this whole thing referenced back to this balance point here. And so if we go back now to this, this 59, yeah, I minus 59 days, because 59, 5/9, May the 9th was Mother's Day, yeah, the same as in England, 3/14 was Mother's Day, I think it was. This was Mother's Day in America this year. So we've backtracked that 59, and it takes us back to May the 23rd, which I thought was nice, because if we go back to the chart, if we look at the chart again, this 59 is right here. So anyway, excuse me. So anyway, that 59 happens to be there. So I kind of like that, the way that worked out. So let's go back. Let's look at some other dates, some other numbers here. 314, we'll go back 314 days, and it takes us to September the 10th. That's pretty close. What do I say about that? I'm not actually sure whether, because we jump, I'm not actually sure whether that would actually be September the 11th or not. If we, I don't know, I'm guessing the calculator worked it out right. I'm just going to leave it at it's September the 10th, the day before, that's the last day of the cycle, if you like, before everything changed. The last proper day. I don't know, you can think about however you want, but it's so close. It was worth putting in there. This is interesting. We take the pi numbers again, and we went forward, and that took us to December the 2nd, so 134 days this time, and that is Britney Spears' birthday, I think. And if we go back 134 days, that takes us to March the 9th, which again is 39, or you could flip that to 36 if you really wanted to be trying to make something of it. But anyway, we've got the 39, and that just happens to be Britney's age as well. Britney Spears happens to be 39 years old, at least according to Wikipedia. So that was interesting because, of course, Britney right now is just, in the news. And it's just a metaphor for the system. Britney Spears. Well, Britannia holds a spear, so Britney is Britannica or Britannia, holding that trident, the spear. And as I've said before in other videos, that just equates back to Athena, and we're back to the moon, and we're back to Wonder Woman, all these other different, Diana. It's all the same stuff basically, just repackaged a little bit differently, every once in a while. Just to highlight maybe a slightly different characteristic of the system, but it's essentially the same thing. And so, what's going on with Britney now? This Free Britney, right? We've got Britney named for the fiction, and she's in the being controlled by that very name, by that very fiction that is her name, by the false persona. And she, the woman, the actual living woman, is fed up with it and wants to be treated fairly. It's just a metaphor for what's going on in the system right now, done through Britney Spears. And she's got a lot of interesting named songs. Some of the stuff like Kissing Madonna, and I don't know. You can just go. I mean, the songs alone, just the song titles. Anyway, I don't want to even dwell on that, but that I just thought it was interesting that just happened to come up. We can go back 121 days, which of course, again, is heavily referenced with the with this day, with what's going on. So 1 to 1, we've come from 1, we've gone to 2, and now we're going to have to go back to 1. And you can think about that in a number of different ways. This fictional twin here with the number 2. Anyway, you can figure about that just whichever way you want to figure about it. But anyway, that takes us back to 322, which was an interesting day. We can go back 1008 again, the 108, which was again referenced back the other way with October the 8th, the 88, and that takes us back to Easter Sunday, the birth of Christ as well, which for it to come out on a, you know, a 1 and an 8 number, again, that it's just interesting. I know it hasn't come out on a just a, you know, any old completely random number. It's come out on something fairly interesting. So the other thing that I did is I took the numbers of the actual the days of the year of the actual date, so the 202nd day of the year, and of course we want to add this one and minus this one. If we do it the other way around, we'll just end up at the end of the year. But if we do it this way around, so we can either add 202 or we can minus 163, and that will bring us to February the 8th, which again, the Super Bowl, which was heavily loaded. Chiefs lost to the Bucks, and you know, 9-31, and we've got those same numbers here again, the 163 or the 139, and the 139 again is in the table. It's right here, 139. So this 163 happens to be in the table as well, right here. So you know, all these numbers, and we'll cover the 97 and a couple of these here again in just a second when we look at just some random numbers at the end here. I just thought it was interesting. Now, as for other dates, August the 10th happens to be 20 days away, and the significance of 20 days is between Easter Sunday and Lazarus Saturday is 20 days. So the 20 and the whole thing with the 2020 vision, you know, it's just interesting. I put it in there. 97 is in the chart. 79 is also atomic number of gold. Yeah, and this is the first date in Back to the Future when they first are doing the first lot of time traveling. October the 26th is the date when they send Einstein, you know, the 1 minute back, and 121's reference, 119's reference, 118's reference right there. So that's right in Back to the Future. Plus 21, well, of course, I don't know, you know, I stuck 21 on there because of course it's referenced with the actual date itself. And we got to August the 11th. I just really wanted to, you know, kind of put that in there because August the 11th is another interesting day, and I thought, you know, well, I wonder how many days that is away, and it's 21. So, and then 76 again, that's the next number on from 47 on the Cross of Lorraine chart again, and that takes us up to October the 5th, which is 10:05 or 85. I'm almost getting to the point now where I keep calling October 8 instead of 10, you know. But you've got to remember that 10, that's a completion number, a complete cycle. So it's a pretty important thing, and it's actually a balanced number in itself. Yeah, the 1 and the 0, it's the counting the first cycle, if you like, I don't know. But anyway, that's pretty much the end of the video. You know, just some interesting stuff. Definitely with the Arecibo thing and those jumps. And the same way as we did the jumps with, you know, going back from 1985 to 55 and then forward to 2015, and then if we substitute in 88 for 1985, we can then go 33 years and we get to 2021, and we still go back to 1955 on the minus 33 years. So it's kind of like these 3 jumps, and so I thought that was interesting with the Arecibo thing. Anyway, I think that's about the end of the video. I don't know, do I have time? We're already into 7:21 now. So anyway, It's probably already long enough, this video, but I might as well just do this because I'll never get around to doing it if I don't now. Let me just bring up this real quick. Oh, what the hell do you do there, Dan? You shouldn't press that twice. Get rid of that a minute. Oh, gosh. Hopefully I didn't just get rid of what I wanted. Okay, somewhere here, Britney Spears, Charles. So, okay, this guy here, Charles Lazarus, right? This store, right? This is what I was looking at. This Toys R Us, right? In fact, this is a video for another day, so I'll just leave you with just a couple of tidbits. The Toys R Us logo, R is 18. You know what? I don't really want to do this video right now. I'll tell you what. This will be the next video. Toys R Us. You can already see the symbolism. There's a lot to talk about with the symbolism. I think I'll just leave it for the next video. Maybe I can do it real quick after I get this one up, but I really want to go to bed. Anyway, I guess I'll catch you on the next one. God, I can't make my mind up because it wouldn't really take too long to do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Hang on. Toys R Us, right? So we've got the 5-pointed star. So that's the fiction. There's the R, backwards R. In the fiction, the R is the 18, number 18. I'm pretty sure it's number 18 in the alphabet. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to call it number 18. And that's the man inside the moon, yeah? Inside Venus, or whatever you want to call that 5-pointed star, the control system. Now, it's interesting it's called Toys R Us because it's a little bit like Lazarus. And the reason why is probably because the guy that founded it was, this will come up, Charles Lazarus. We've got a picture of him. No picture of him, I guess. He is born October the 4th. And October the 4th is, boy, it's one of those dates that pops up an awful lot, especially if you go back to putting these numbers in that we were just looking at out of this chart. And coming off of the 29th of June instead of the day that I was just doing, the 7/21 day, October the 4th comes up a couple of times, and it's quite an interesting date. But anyway, and it also comes up in Back to the Future on the clock tower, 10:04 when the clock stops. So it's definitely interesting, and he also dies March 22. So we've got some loaded stuff already. And of course, in office 1957. So we've got the 157 kind of reference there again as well, which is interesting. But what I want to say about this guy, Charles Philip Lazarus, I mean, I don't really want to get too much into it. Just the fact that the name Lazarus is kind of like Toys R Us, yeah? Lazarus, Toys R Us. Anyway, of course, we all know that Toys R Us went bankrupt, and the date that they went bankrupt, or at least announced bankruptcy, in fact, I really shouldn't be doing this because I don't have it all lined out, all my dates correct. Let's look at this. This is when they declared bankruptcy. What have we got here, babe? Come on, let's go. It doesn't give me it. Come on. Toys R Us. No. Las Vegas shooting. We don't want that. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention actually with that last. We'll get onto Toys R Us just to backtrack just for 1 second. The days, right? If we go to what was I gonna say? There was something interesting about the 20. Oh no, it was interesting. What was interesting was the 8th of. I have to notice this, but the February the 8th. Super Bowl day happened to be, I think it was National Boy Scout Day, and that just made me think of that Maroon 5 song. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Hey 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 Now Baby. It's the one anyway where they have the scene in Vegas and he grows into a giant like King Kong, you know, or like, it's referencing another film. I can't remember what it is. I think it's one where a woman turns into a big giant. But anyway, he stomps on a get to the point, Dan. He stomps on a the Boy Scout, yeah. So again, we're talking about you know, coming out of that, like that control system, turning from a Boy Scout into a man. You know, the 21 again with the age. 21's another coming of age year. So it's all about, you know, becoming responsible, becoming independent, becoming a man or a woman. You know, when I say when becoming a man, I mean becoming, you know, a balanced human being. I don't know, somebody that can take responsibility for themselves. Anyway, back to Toys R Us. Sorry to get sidetracked, because of course as well, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the 20th, which would now be yesterday, was Moon Day, and there's a couple of interesting things. And today would also be Hot Dog Day, National Hot Dog Day. What was the other ones? Legal Age to Drink Day. I mean, who comes up with this crap? Oh, and then what was interesting was I clicked on to see what the 22nd of July would be, and they've got like Pie Approximation Day, and also Mango Day. The mango, you know, I mean, you know, interesting. Anyway, enough of that. This video is way too long already. Let's continue with so Charles Lazarus founded Toys R Us. And so what's the toy? The toy is what the system gives you, yeah? Toys for boys. The toy boy is what we become, yeah? Because we become the, you know, men and women, but we both become the toy boy of the system, yeah? Keeping the old crony happy, yeah? We're given what we wanted, you know, in order to please the system, if you like. So we become the toy boy, and that, you know, the toys are the things that are given to us to, you know, keep us lured into the system. It's what we give to children to keep them happy, you know, and that's what the system gives to us. This is the reference to Toys R Us. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts, you know. And what we've got to look at is we are backwards right now. I was going to do something with doing some numbers backwards with this R being backwards, but anyway, I ain't going to worry about it now. You can also anagram this, because I was writing this into Google, and I happened to miss the S out, and I put Toy Russ. Well, I suppose we can look at it big, but I kind of missed this S out, and I put Toy Russ, and I'm like, Toy Russ? Taurus? I was like, yes, that is the exact thing where we're coming from, the Taurus. Again, back with the 8 reference, and the idea of, you know, coming out of nothingness and manifesting and then going back to nothingness. But the Taurus is the donut, is the dome, is the dam, is all those things. It's that womb, the artificial womb where we come from, which is completely artificial, because it's a complete, we come from that fictional realm and manifest into reality. Oh, my throat's kind of getting sore while I was talking. So, boy, what else do I want to say? Oh, it's founded 73 years ago. That's, you know, L. I don't even want to, you know, I mean, what's interesting is who buys them out? Kroger. Yeah, remember the the super. What was it? I can't remember the King Super that with the thing that was a Kroger place. King Super. And I guess they kind of amalgamate it with Jeffrey's Toy Box and True Kids. What's interesting about Jeffrey is Jeff is George being free, yeah? Jeff being free. Jeffrey, George free. I don't know. The only other thing I can think that would be like with a free on the end would be Godfrey. But it's interesting, isn't it? Jeff free, being free of the system. And this True Kids. What was I thinking about True Kids? Apart from just being balanced, you know, true. Just interesting, isn't it? What they turned what they've turned Toys R Us into. I'm pretty sure they announced bankruptcy on. Well, there's some interesting dates in here. There's no even point in pulling the dates apart. There really isn't. That it's loaded. You can go through and look at it yourself. Boy, what else do I want to say about it? Let's look at just a couple more things. The storefronts. In the bigger, better ones, I mean, in the little town ones, they're not so great, but in the bigger, better ones, you'll see, and I think probably the best thing to do. I'm probably missing a bunch of stuff out of here, and you can go through, and you can. Oh yeah, Babies R Us as well. This is part of Toys R Us, and Babies R Us. Again, we're dealing with taking the baby and putting it straight into the system. Yeah, I don't know. That's what the system does. It takes us at birth, like the Pied Piper, and we're entered into the system. Yeah. So let's see. I don't know if they've got. There's a typical Toys R Us storefront. But you can see we've got this big, and a lot of the time this will be glass here in the better stores. But this big blue glass front usually, and then the Golden Gate doorway. So we've got the C here of the fiction, the dam wall, and of course the gateway. But I just thought it was interesting that the guy's name was Lazarus, and Toys R Us. It's kind of odd that it went back. I mean, we had a couple of places that kind of went under, didn't they? But it's just very odd when you look at some places that seem to be making money, and you would think that Toys R Us could always make a bit of money. But anyway, I don't think we need to even go through these. Kids R Us, yeah, Babies R Us. Anyway, right. Oh, that's what we are as well. When we're in the system, we are babies and we are kids. Because we're still feeding off the mother, basically. So again, we're back to the coming of age thing. I think I've pretty much covered everything on the Toys R Us. There really wasn't that much to, but it just takes us right back to the Lazarus thing. I don't see anything else. I've already covered that. There's a bunch more stuff in that condominium thing. 88s and 55s all over the place. We've got the Arecibo there. I don't think there's anything else that I want to really. I had Pulp Fiction up. I don't think there's any real point in covering Pulp Fiction right now. But you interested in Pulp Fiction? Not this bit off the end. We don't need this bit on the end. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I guess I'll catch you on the next video sometime. Alright, cheers, bye.